So let's begin, children. Good day to you. We are going to read, learn and understand lesson number 3, the skeletal and muscular systems. And I promise you that you're going to have a lovely time because it's quite an interesting lesson. All right, let's see what the warm-up session has in store for us. Okay, now the first question goes like this. Name the 5 sense organs. Okay, now definitely we know what is this. This is the nose. This is the ear. All right, this is the skin, eyes and tongue. Got it? Tongue. Tongue. All right. So nose, ear, skin, eyes, tongue. Now, here we'll see what we have for B. We have name any 2 internal organs and any 2 external organs. Now for internal, what we have is heart, H-E-A-R-T, heart, and lungs. All right. For external, we have hands and legs. So that was a lovely warm-up that we had, children. Now let's see what we are going to learn as we go ahead. Learn about the various parts of the human skeletal and muscular systems. Understand and remember the structure and the functions of these parts. Identify various joints of our body. Let's see the conversation between these 3 people. Hello, Sarah. What happened to your arm? I fell off the stairs and broke my arm's bone. But the doctor says I will be fine soon. Okay, did you have a look at their conversation? Now let's see. All right, what is going to happen? Okay, in the skeletal and muscular system. Okay, do you know that the broken bones can repair themselves? Can you guess bones are a part of which body system? Okay, now that's for you to think, for you to ponder, and for you to jot it down or point out, whatever it is, or make pointers rather. The skeletal system and the muscular system work together very closely to make our body move. Let us study about the skeletal system and learn how muscles help in moving the bones. Okay, we begin with the skeletal system, children. First, we are going to have in-depth knowledge about the skeletal system. Got it? So, the framework of bones in our body is known as skeleton. What is the framework of bones in our body known as, children? It's known as the skeleton. It is covered with flesh, that is muscles and fats and skin. Now let's see the functions of skeleton. Let's have a look at the functions of skeleton. The skeleton gives the body its shape. The skeleton provides support to the body and keeps the internal organs in their proper place. You can see, the internal organs, that's the stomach, the liver, the lungs, all are there sitting inside this framework. Okay? The muscles attached to the bones help in the movement of the various body parts. The skeleton protects the internal organs from damage by surrounding them with bones. The skull protects the brain. The ribcage protects the heart and the lungs. The vertebral column protects the spinal cord. Larger bones contain bone marrow. That is a spongy tissue inside the bones which produces red blood cells, that's the RBCs, and most of the white blood cells, WBCs. The bones also contain minerals. Which are those minerals? Calcium, potassium, etc. Now this is the entire human skeletal system. This is the skull, this is the jawbone, shoulder blade, these are the ribs, upper arm bone, this is the spine, lower arm bones, hip bone, bones of hand, thigh bone, this is the kneecap, calf bone, shin bone, bones of foot. So that was a lovely, information about the functions of skeleton and a lovely information about the human skeletal system here in detail with these pointers. Children, I want you to illustrate the human skeletal system. I want you to draw it, okay? Make a lovely sketch of it. With this, your sketches will improve, your understanding will improve, and you will be able to seep in the knowledge. It will remain intact with you, okay? And don't forget to make these pointers and write down what each pointer stands for. Fact is, a newborn baby has how many bones? 305. As the baby grows older, some bones join together. The skeleton of an adult has 206 bones. The bones in the palm, foot and toe are small in size. The bones in legs and arms are long, and the rib bones are round. A few bones in the head are flat. Did you get it? And then we have the parts of skeleton. Okay, we finished with the functions of the skeleton. Now we are going to learn and ponder about the parts of the skeleton. Got it, children? All right. Some important components of the skeletal system are skull, backbone, rib cage, limbs and girdles. Now this is the skull. Skull is the bony structure of head that surrounds the brain and gives the head its shape. The skull is made up of 22 bones. The round part of the skull holds the brain. It is called the cranium. Cranium is made up of 8 bones. The face, including the lower jaw, consists of 14 bones. There are also 3 tiny bones in each ear and 1 single bone in the throat. The bones of the skull provide protection to the brain and the organs such as eyes, ears and nose. Now let's have a look at the fact is, all the bones of the skull are fixed and immovable except the lower jaw. The jaw bones bear teeth, but teeth are not bones. Children, remember this, it's a very interesting piece of information. All right, now we go to the rib cage. This is the sketch of the rib cage. I want you to draw it and name it. Okay, label all these. Label the floating ribs and the breastbone. Now coming to the rib cage or chest consists of 25 bones. 1 breastbone, that is known as sternum, and 12 sets of ribs, that is 24 ribs. 10 pairs of ribs are attached to the sternum in front and the backbone at the back. Last 2 pairs are called floating ribs as they are not attached to the sternum. These 24 bones form a protective cage which helps in protecting internal organs like the heart and the lungs. So how many bones does a rib cage or the chest consist of? 25 bones. Okay, children? Very good. Now let's move further. We have the backbone. See, this is the backbone and this is the vertebrae. The skull is attached to the backbone. The backbone is long, bony structure that provides support for the body. It is also known as the vertebral column or spine. The human spinal column is made of 33 bones called vertebrae. These vertebrae are stacked on each other with the support of intervertebral discs. The backbone has movable joints, and this enables us to bend and twist easily. The vertebral column protects the delicate spinal cord. Other bones, limbs and girdles, upper limbs and shoulder girdle. There are 2 collarbones and 2 shoulder bones forming shoulder girdle. Shoulder girdle joins the upper limbs to the spine. Each arm consists of 1 upper arm bone and 2 lower arm bones. There are 8 bones in the wrist. The palm of each hand is made up of 5 bones, and 14 bones make up the fingers of a hand. The upper arm is called humerus, and it's joined to the 2 bones of lower arm at the elbow. Now children, this is the arm bone and this is the humerus. Got it? Very good. Now let's go to the lower limbs and hip girdle. Alright, now this is the hip girdle. Okay, now let's learn about the lower limbs and the hip girdle. Lower limbs mean the leg bone. Okay, the hip girdle is made up of 3 bones fused to form a single bone. There are 2 hip bones, that is also called girdles. The 2 hip bones connect the spine with the lower limbs. The urinary bladder lies inside the hip girdle. Each leg has 1 thigh bone, 1 kneecap and 2 other bones, one of which is called shin bone. The shin bone is the larger and the stronger of 2 bones. The kneecap is thick, round bone which you can feel in your knee. It protects our knee joint from getting hurt or damaged. There are 7 bones in each ankle and 19 bones in each foot. An adult's body is made up of 206 bones. Fat face, the thigh bone, that is the femur, is the longest and the strongest bone in our body. The smallest bone is stapes, which is present in our ears. Mandible is the hardest bone, which forms the lower jaw. Got it, children? Now see, this is the leg bone, that is the femur, which is known as the thigh bone. This is the kneecap and this is the shin bone. An adult's body is made up of 206 bones. Now, what does it mean? What do we understand by shin bone? The bone at the front of your leg and between the knee and the feet is known as the shin bone. Let's have a look at the checkpoint 1 before we move further. It says fill in the blanks. There are dash bones in an adult body, we learned just now. There are 206. The urinary bladder lies inside the hip girdles. That too we learned. Alright, the 12 pairs of bones in the chest form the dash which protects the heart and the lungs. Okay, that is the rib cage. The 12 pairs, okay, we finished with the third one. Dash is a spongy tissue inside the bones which produces red blood cells. Okay, what is it, children? It is definitely the bone marrow. Got it? Dash is long bony structure that provides support for the body. What is it, children? It's the backbone. Dash protects our knee joint from getting hurt or damaged. Kneecap. All right, we finished with the checkpoint one. Now let's go to the joints. A joint is a place where two or more bones fit together. Bones are held together by strong bands of fiber-like structures called ligaments. They control the movements of bones. What do? They control the movement of bones. At the joints, where the bones rub against each other, they are supported by a stiff but flexible substance called cartilage. The cartilages protect the joints and facilitate movement. There are many different types of joints. Some are movable while others are immovable. Now let's see about the immovable joints. The joints of the cranium, in the skull, ribs in the breastbone, and the bones of the girdle are examples of immovable joints. Children, now we learned about the joints. Okay, we have not completed it. Under joints, we are learning the immovable joints. We just had a look at it. All right, I hope everybody understood about it. All right, and then what are we going to move further on to now? The movable joints. All right. Okay. The movable joints contain a lubricating liquid to reduce the friction between the bones. The muscles attached to the joints contract and relax simultaneously to allow movement. Let's understand the meaning of lubricate, children. To use a substance such as oil to make a machine operate more easily, or to prevent something sticking or rubbing. All right. Now let's see the different types of movable joints. Okay. They are, first one, different types of movable joints. First we are going to learn about the pivot joint. All right. Now the pivot joint is a joint that is found between the head and the first two vertebrae of the spine. It helps in the movement of our head in upward, downward and sideways directions. This is how it moves. All right. Now this is the pivot joint, children. Okay. Then we are going to learn about the sliding joint, children. Sliding joint, we are coming to the sliding joint. Got it? The sliding joints allow small sliding movements at the wrist, ankle and between the vertebrae of the backbone. It allows the back to bend, twist and turn. Such a joint is also called a gliding joint. What is it also called? A gliding joint. Did you get it, children? All right, it's also called a gliding joint. Okay, that was interesting. Let's move further to a ball and a socket joint, which is the next one. The ball and socket joint. Got it? A ball and a socket joint allows a circular movement. Here, one bone that ends in a ball fits into the socket or hollow of another bone. Ball and socket joints are found in shoulders and hips. At the shoulders, the long bone ends in a ball and fits into the socket of the shoulder blade. At the hips, the femur ends in a ball and fits into the socket of the hip bone. My God, this is wow, I'm feeling so great, learning about this, children. I think so you also must be having a great time, isn't it? Then we are moving to the hinge joints. Hinge. Okay. Wow, I can just love science, children. The hinge joints work like the hinges in a door. Okay, they allow movement of bones in only one direction. Usually, bones move back and forth and increase their angle up to 180 degree. This joint is present in the knee, elbow, fingers and toes. So that was something interesting that we learned about the different types of movable joints. Alright, now we are going to go to the muscles and movement. What are we going to go to, children? Muscles and movements. Okay. Now let's see what is there in store for us. Bones are covered with tissues called muscles. Over 600 muscles are present in the entire human body. My God, that's a great piece of information, children. Muscles are attached to the bones with the help of tendons. The muscles contract and relax and thus produce movement in the body. Mainly, there are two types of muscles in our body. Which are those two types of muscles? The voluntary and involuntary muscles. Okay, voluntary muscles, and first one is the voluntary muscle, and of course there is the involuntary muscle. Alright, now voluntary muscles, striated or striped muscles. These are the muscles whose movement can be controlled. For example, the skeletal muscles in the arms, hands and feet. The skeletal muscles present in the arms, hand and legs and feet are called voluntary muscles. Why are they called voluntary muscles? Because their movement can be controlled. Next we go to the involuntary muscles. They are non-striated or unstriped muscles. They are also called non-striated or unstriped muscles. These muscles work on their own and we have no control over their movement. There are two types of involuntary muscles, that is the cardiac muscle, alright, and smooth muscles. My goodness, that was lovely piece of information. Now coming to the cardiac muscles, children, muscles present only in our heart are known as cardiac muscles. These muscles work all the time, whether we are asleep or awake. These muscles do not get tired. They pump the blood to different parts of the body. Can you imagine that they don't get tired and they don't sleep? I mean, either we are asleep or awake, they are just doing their work. They are going on doing their duty. The pump of the blood to different parts of the body. Smooth muscles, during digestion, muscles contract and relax for the movement of food in the body. Smooth muscles are found in the stomach and intestine. Alright, now these are skeletal muscles, these are cardiac muscles, and these are smooth muscles. Children, I want you to draw these illustrations beautifully in your notebook. Okay, no chapter in science should go with illustrations from your end. Got it? Okay, now let's come to the checkpoint 2. Write one word for the following. Joint that allows back and forth movement. That is definitely the hinge joint. Alright, then the joint found between the bones of the vertebral column. That's a sliding joint. Then joint found at the ankle on and the wrist is also a sliding joint. Got it? Alright, now we are almost come to the end of the lesson. Let's have a recap. The skeletal system is the framework of the bones in our body. There are 206 bones in an adult's body. Bones give structure, support, and strength to our body. The ribcage protects heart and lungs. Skull protects the brain. There are mainly 4 joints: pivot, ball and socket, sliding, and hinge joint. Alright, muscles are attached to the bones with the help of tendons. There are 2 types of muscles in our body: involuntary and voluntary muscles. So that was the end of the beautiful lesson. Hope you had a lovely session, children. We'll meet soon for the next lesson. Thank you.